Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie. I'm Mike, he's Jay, and Brainscan!
Scan of the brain.
I said, God damn!
Yeah.
Feels good!
Fuck you, trickster!
Woo!
Now that I have your attention, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Trickster.
Brainscan's a movie that I watched one night late on Skinamax. I'm sitting up at my mom's house, the parents are asleep. I'm just waiting for Real Sex to come on finally.
Oh, I thought you were waiting on to hear your parents having sex so you could record it.
That's what I really wanted.
What was that film you were watching?
Death, death, death.
Death, death, death.
Part 2.
Oh, Lord.
There's this kid, and him and his best buddy Kyle are obsessed with horror. They even have a little horror club. It's Edward Furlong's the main character. And this new horror game comes out called Brainscan. And this is back in the day when you found out about horror games from like Fangoria and like magazines and shit like that. There was no trailers or internet or anything like that. It was the beginning of the Industrial Revolution!
Now you're playing with power. Fucking superpower.
And he tells him about this game that's unlike any other. And he's like, Kyle, I've played them all.
Look, I've played them all.
And just when he thought he'd die of boredom,
Brainscan, the ultimate experience in interactive terror.
Never leave home without it.
This game hypnotizes you, and it puts you in the shoes of a killer committing a murder. And we're going to try to go non-spoiler with this as much as possible, because I bet a lot of people haven't seen it.
It is a hidden gem in the groves of gems.
And if you're a horror fan, you're going to want to fucking see it. So he plays the game, and it puts you in the shoes of a murderer where you actually kill somebody, and you have to try to get away with it. There's 3 stages to the game, and it becomes way more real than he expected it to be. And that's maybe where we should leave it.
You must think like a killer. Cover up any clues. Leave no witnesses, no evidence.
a challenge he can't resist.
It was so real. It was sick.
Edward Furlong was one of those guys that I always liked his hair. Like, I liked his hair, it was cool. Ever since Terminator 2, I was like, I want hair like that. He had that perfect, like, cool thing. And then he got fat and weird and, like, tried to kill a red lobster or a lobster or something. Or maybe that was the other guy. Anyway, there was a lot of similarities. Not that they copied it because it came out years later, but of, like, the movie Stay Alive. And that movie sucked dick. That movie was a terrible movie. But this movie did what that movie couldn't do. It actually took an interactive game that's a horror game and put you in the shoes of this kid that you're like, I love video games, love all this stuff, and now I'm trying to survive the night. This friggin' weird demon creature that looks like Drop Dead Fred, and he looks like Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers too. He doesn't look like Drop Dead Fred, but he just reminds me of Drop Dead
Snyder
Fred.
from Twisted Sister.
Yeah, exactly. He looks like that guy. He's like in your ear saying, "Killer, killer, you know you want to, killer." And you're like, "I don't want to, Trickster, go home."
And that dude really brought out a Little Monsters vibe.
Yeah.
The dude,
Yeah, he did.
It was very Little Monsters.
He did look like Maurice. It felt like a Tales from the Crypt mixed with like an adult version of Goosebumps.
Totally.
Like, and even the music kind of matched that. And by the way, Frank Langella is in this. He's the lead detective.
Badass.
And Frank Langella, I love that guy, and I'll never forget that he gave so much, and that movie sucked so much dick, but I loved it. Was Master of the Universe as Skeletor, and he's like, "Do you hear?" He was really like, I always loved Frank Langella, but he's still a great actor, and he's like the perfect lead dick detective that suspects this kid of doing these murders. But you'll have to watch it to find out exactly why all that is the way it is. But man, it really was a great movie.
It was. It's one of the weirdest things that freaks me out about like committing crimes and stuff like that is like when you think about it, after you commit the crime, how scared would you be? Like if it's killing somebody,
Well, if I did it smartly, I wouldn't.
But you go home and you're sitting at your house in your little suburban neighborhood, and you're like. That's where the fear really begins, because you're just waiting every second for the cops to show up or something to go on. There's news headlines, there's all that, and this movie captured that so well.
There was a grisly murder in the quiet suburban town of Mount View today.
So you did it.
What was on that disc?
It's not a game anymore.
I'm Lieutenant Hayden.
It's real.
It wasn't supposed to be real.
You mentioned the music, man. The music, it's the same riff over and over again, and it's so fucking like 90's and shit. Like, it's this dum da da dum dum. And my wife is sitting on the couch. She's watching Game of Thrones with her headphones in on her phone.
As you do.
And she pulls it out for just a second, as I never do.
Oh, Lord.
And she watches like 5 seconds of this movie, and she's like, "This movie's morbid as fuck," and it is. Like, yeah, it's got a video game aspect to it. It's a fun horror movie, but at the same time, this movie's really mean and dark and just fucking twisted. In so many ways, it's really cool. You don't get movies like this today, and it's got, even though it's got funny shit in it, like the main guy you said, Drop Dead Fred, reminds me of the guy from Little Monsters.
Yeah,
it's got some outlandish, crazy shit in it.
He's like the rock version of. He's like the evil rock version of Maurice from Little Monsters.
Yeah.
Like he's like beyond what Maurice was ever going to do.
But it's so dark.
But here's the thing. Also, you're speaking of the darkness.
The darkness, Michael.
you're speaking of that, but you know it's weird because it's not just the dark tones that they're going for in black comedy in its own way. It's like there's like a sex scene almost, and they're like kids, and they're like 16-year-olds. Like, how is this legal?
Yeah.
It's like, is the dude from Jeepers Creepers around directing this shit?
And they actually seem young as fuck at the movie too. Like, but I don't know. It's really cool because it takes you back to a time when all these video games were like the new thing. And who'd have thought that a movie called Brainscan from the early 90s would have predicted Alexa? Because he has this. He has this. And I loved 80s movies with kids and 90s movies with kids because they always had the most badass rooms.
I know he had the greatest room ever.
His room was the shit.
And his dad was never around, and it was like a normal suburban house. But how did he afford all that shit?
I know, like
there's no way. He had like top shelf Toshiba.
But you always like there's this dark overtone to the movie. It always felt like it was dark and gloomy outside. When you're a kid alone in your house in a suburban neighborhood, it really just it captures that probably better than any other movie does. Like it's always just seems leery and creepy outside a little bit. The atmosphere of the movie is amazing. And in his room, like I said, they predicted Alexa because he has this thing called Igor.
That's
and
cool,
he's like, Igor, dial brain scan. And this dude comes up and is like, yes, master. And he calls him on the phone. Technology that didn't exist back then, but as a kid, you're like, fuck, my parents suck.
That shit's better than Alexa for sure.
Why can't I get that? Yeah.
But, you know, also, you're speaking of that feeling that you would get when you like, you know, you go home. If you had like committed a murder and you're just waiting, you're nervous and you're scared, which is what kind of Edward Furlong is. You know, he's in this bubble, this atmosphere of like this fear all the time. But that's like if you got a bad grade at school and the school just hasn't called your parents yet. Yeah. You're sitting home, you're like, and then you're like, you get home and they're all happy to see you. You're like, hey honey, how was school? It's like, that was great. And you just go to your room. You're like, wait for the clock of doom. You can't do it. It's like maybe take the phone off the hook.
Or do you know you're gonna get your ass kicked at school the next day? You're just sitting at home like reading magazines and shit. I don't know. It captures a weird part of like troubled youth really, really well. Yeah. And the horror stuff, like when you always, I mean, I don't know, this makes me sound like a fucked up person, but I mean, anybody's wondered like, God, what would it be like to kill somebody? Like I couldn't do it. I don't want to do it.
I never wanted to.
How fucked up would that be? Maybe I'm sick.
I watched Dexter.
Look out. But it really puts a normal person, semi-normal, kind of fucked up dude, in those shoes, and it makes you think a lot. Now, there's corny parts of the movie. There's plot holes abound. Like, how the fuck does this happen?
Yeah, there was one specific. Yeah, there's multiple. You're right. I can't say what it is, but there are plot holes, and I'm like, yeah, you must have skipped over that during lunch because I don't remember that part in the movie.
Edward Furlong, Frank Langella, and introducing T. Ryder Smith as the trickster. Brainscan.
That's what I loved about these kids too. They were outcasts and weird because they liked horror. And this was back in the time. It's not like today when you're a movie dork or whatever. Back in the day, you got your ass kicked for that shit and people called you a weirdo. Today, it's cool. Everybody's so fucking meta. But back in the day, it wasn't like that. And they really do capture that really well.
Same thing with comic books. We could never talk about that out loud. It was a secret thing.
For people interested in true horror, like legitimate horror, like stuff that actually have like serial killers and shit like that, if that's something that fascinates you, this movie is crazy. Like I said, it's a video game come to life. But you really enjoy this movie. It has a real horror vibe
like a
to
twist to it also.
Yeah, abso-fucking-lutely, man. I love this movie. It's badass. It's fucking metal as shit. I give it an 8.5. I think it's underrated as shit, and I love everything about this movie. It's super nostalgic for me.
I'm going to give it an 8.0. I think it was a great movie. There are plot holes, like Mike said. There's things about it that kind of leave you like, But at the same time, you're like, fuck it, it's good. Play that metal music, bitch. Trickster, yeah. And then you're like, and then at some point, though, you're watching it, and Trickster's like a bad guy, but then you're like, I wish he was my friend too. Yeah. It's like there was moments I was like, I want this red-haired guy that looks like Flea from Red Hot Chili Pepper Pop. I'm like, do you want to fucking commit murder? Like this, I don't know, whatever. It just seemed like when you're right, the little monsters thing definitely get your fucking cat away from that. There are little monsters feels about that they captured really well, and they mixed really well with certain graphic nature in the movie. Although I want to say at the very beginning of this movie, I did not expect that when his knees all fucked up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Grody is
God
thick.
damn.
Really thick and grody. Yeah, chili peppers. I don't know
you
what
want
I'm
chili pepper?
Guys, if you're looking for a movie recommendation, if you're looking for a movie that you probably never heard of, a lot of you haven't heard of it, I'm sure, that you want to really fucking rock your dick, then definitely watch Brainscan. This is the one I'm telling you. I'm recommending it to you. Go find it, seek it out, watch it. I want to thank Destination Station. I'm going to put his YouTube in the channel below.
God, thank you for
he
that.
sent it to us. Badass, man. That guy does Blu-ray reviews and all sorts of cool shit. So please go subscribe to him. Check him out. Comment down below. What's one movie that you watched as a kid or growing up or found late one night on Skinamax that you love and adore that nobody talks about a lot? Deep, fucking deep.
I liked Hidden Pleasures. That was a porn.
I bet it was.
It's a softcore.
All men.
It's good.
I liked it.
There wasn't men in that. There was only 2.
Comment down below, let us know. We love your fucking faces. And if you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button. Get some goddamn wham up in you.
Call 1-900-WHAM-A-LOT and kick them nasty thoughts.
I can't wait to see what you do next.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie.